Okay, can everybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I've got sound. Can you hear me? Okay. I don't know why you couldn't hear me a while ago, because when I played it again, you could hear it. But I deleted it, so I can't go back now. Okie doke. Have you talked to the author? Is she gonna be here? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started because it's getting late. So it just okay. So my computer's going crazy all of a sudden. It's doing shit. Okay. Everything's cool right now, I think. We're good. It may Blood at Dusk. Laura. My fingers dig through my bag, searching for the smooth metal of my only friend. I find the pistol easy enough and pull it out. The silver finish glints against the barrel under my chin. This is my ritual. What it's doing. Okay. This is my ritual and mine alone. Completely alone. I exhale. Bring the gun down and stuff it into my backpack. I wrap my arms around my chest. Coward. This wasn't weakness. Others have managed to survive this long. I only wish that I was released from the agonizing grip of the nightmare like the rest of humanity was. Drip, drip, drip. The constant trickle of wetness as it falls into the collection pool is driving me mad. Sometimes the droplets sound like people screaming for someone to save them. I cover ears with my hands, rocking back on the heels of my feet. It's dark inside the cave I call home. The light from my candle barely allows enough visibility for me to see my arm when it's stretched out in front of me. I snatch my flashlight off the smooth stone floor, aiming it around toward the tunnel that leads to the entrance of my dwelling. Click. There's nothing there but smooth rock, and the stalagmites glisten as the light hovers over them. The tightness in my chest loosens just enough for me to breathe deeply again, and then I switch the light off. I only have one more pack of batteries, and I can't afford to waste them. Spending days alone inside this cave affects me more than I'd like to admit. So instead of going insane, I daydream. Memories of my mother fill my mind, and I lose myself in the visions. I watch my mother's face brighten with a smile as she pulls her cardigan around her shoulders, dancing as she waves a smoking stick of sage over the house. She places shining geodes on top of our mantle for good luck, stating that we'll need it soon. Fleetwood Mac blares on our old record player as she rids our house of negativity, boasting about her hippie days in Bali as she tassels my messy curls. She looks down at me like I'm the reason for her joy. Suddenly, my chest feels too tight, and I turn the flashlight on again, aiming it toward the tunnels. No one is there, but the twinkle of the stones slow my heart once more. I sit up in bed, throwing my blanket off my lap. My bed isn't much of a bed at all, really. It's a pile of old t-shirts and whatever else I could find in the gift shop that once operated outside of this cave, leading tourists inside to marvel at the beauty of the cavern walls. I'm lucky to have as much as I do, really. Lord knows I've been dealt worse hands. Pacing seems like a better option than lying in bed all day. So I walk from one end of the cavern to the other. I'm not sure how many months have passed since the vampires arrived, bringing death and destruction to everything they touched, but the seasons have turned and it's beginning to get cold again. A chill wafts through the tunnel and I hug my arms to my chest. Not good. Not good at all. Cece would have known what to do about this. She'd have had a plan for the cold weather. Maybe she'd start a fire or try to insulate the makeshift door that covers the entrance to the cave. My sister's mischievous smile appears behind my eyelids, and I push my fingers against my temple. No, I won't think about her. Boom! I stand perfectly still as the sound echoes through the cave from outside. Blood pounds in my ears as moments pass in silence. I hold my breath as I wait for something else to happen. Surely, if something were outside, they would find my cave and drag me out kicking and screaming. When nothing comes, I back away to my bed, keeping my footsteps as light as possible. It must have been a tree falling. Yep, that has to be it. I squeeze my eyes closed, willing sleep to take me. At least if I slept, I didn't have to deal with paranoia. When my mind refuses to quiet down, I give in to the thoughts. I think about my past, about my first year at a university, and losing my virginity to that shithead Jason. When those thoughts become too painful, I replay my favorite movie in my head, changing the script to the way it should have been written. Eventually, sleep does come, and I welcome it. Chapter 2, Albion. I'm lying on the damp forest floor when the first sane thoughts float into my mind. Instead of blood, I think about the trees and how completely different they are from the saplings of my home planet. Long gone are the purple willowy leaves and rust-colored bark, replaced by deep browns and greens. After the thought leaves me, I remember who I am, why I am. I'm Albion, Damper of Azure. My mother is Jansel, and my father is Far. My sister Arlie has gone to become a scholar in the great halls of knowledge, or at least she was, before famine came and swept them all away, swept me away. My fingers trace over the ground, feeling the differences between my world and this one. The biggest one I notice is the dry leaves are itchy against my skin. This planet is not my own. I gaze up at the blue sky, trying to piece together all that is lost. The blood supply was depleted, and I was so famished that no amount of begging would soothe my aching stomach. Years passed, filled with crazed thoughts and darkness. What has changed? I stand to my feet, dusting off my old garbs and pulling twigs from my long black hair. The wind whistles through the trees, and I look up in amazement. Though the sight is different, the sounds remain the same as home. Home. This is not your home. I stumble through the dense thicket of trees, not sure where I'm going. I don't know this landscape, though flashes of memory hit me with each step. Images of myself in the depths of my madness, sweeping through the villages and drinking warm blood, I gulp and halt my steps. That couldn't be right. Surely no life as advanced as my own could live on this world. The blood I drank could not have come from a sentient being. But yes, I remember their faces clearly. I remember their hands reaching out for someone to save them. The muscles in my jaw tighten as I dispel the images from my head. What is done is done. The tide has turned now. I have to put the past behind me and find more of my people. But now others had to have awoken from their haze. Hello, Hello, is there anyone here? I call out with my mind as I still and listen patiently. If there are other dampers near me, and that's spelled funny, y'all. I don't know exactly. Hey, Brenna, is it damper? What is? I don't know how I'm saying that. Near me, they will hear. But I wait endless minutes and no one returns my call. So instead, I reach out with my own mind searching. Blood, 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 hunger, blood. Red, 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 drink, drink, rip. Blood, 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 hunger, blood. Red, 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 drink, drink, rip. Blood, blood, blood. They are not back to themselves. None of them. My heart sinks as I come to the realization that I might be the first to have recovered from the madness from the hunger. I continue to walk the lands, crossing rivers and boulders as I go. Okay. Yep, it does. Hey, Jackie Lou Who. I continue to walk the lands, crossing rivers and boulders as I go. Droplets of water trickle down branches and splatter against unfurling green moss as I travel. A beauty that would never have been seen by people if we hadn't arrived here. I stop again, resting my hand against a coarse rock. How did I get here? No memory surfaced to answer my question, only darkness and the desolate land of azure, and then light and bodies and blood. I struggle to break free from the memories of the people as a sinking knot settles deep in my gut. I don't have the answers right now, so I'll have to find others. Surely someone else knows what has gone on. We couldn't have gotten here on our own, not while consumed by our insanity. I call out with my mind again. Is there anyone there? Has anyone returned to their whole minds yet? The silence stretches for an eternity, and I raise my foot to continue forward. Before I hit the ground again, another answers my call. Brother, I am here. Though I can hear him clear as day, the connection is weak. He is miles away, but regardless, my delight over speaking to another person can't be squashed. Brother, have you recovered from your hunger? Another long pause stretches before us, and I wonder if he isn't as well as I hoped. Maybe he still longs for blood. Not anymore. I've just feasted on the last of the four-legged creatures. I don't imagine I'll want another drop of blood for a while. What of you? Are you well? I shake my head before realizing that he cannot see it. No, I am well, but there are others who are still lost to the hunger. Sadness lingers at the thought, and I try to push it away. There is no time for despair right now. I have found another. Which which of the four-legged creatures did you have? Hoof or claw? I remember my last days in the forest before the haze lifted and my most recent meal. The poor being didn't stand a chance against me. It was sizable and covered in brown fur, with claws as sharp as talons. The beast was too slow. Its life ended quickly. It was hoofed with horns. He sends me a mental image of the being, and I watch through his eyes as he stalks the fauna through the dark woodland. Feeling the pull of his mind, I switch direction toward his location. Sooner or later, we will find each other, and once the others recover, we will start our own village. Twigs snap underfoot as I walk, and the wind breezes through my hair, giving me the slightest of comforts. Perhaps the strange land will be good for us. After all, we are alive. There are beasts in these forests and more blood to hunt here. We could start anew. A rust-colored stone catches my eye, and I seize it from the forest floor. I imagine it under the light that filters down through the trees. I examine it under the light that filters down through the trees. The materials look strikingly similar to the rocks on Azure, but held at an angle, this one shimmers and sparkles. I toss it back to the ground and continue forward. What is your name, brother? I step over a fallen tree covered in green moss and vegetation. A small, big-eared animal scampers away as I draw near. Brown, and you? I look up to the sun, shielding my eyes with my hand. It's unduly bright and yellow, white in color. Nothing like the red sun that lit the days in Azure. You may call me Aldeon. Thank you, Brooke, for letting me read this. This is good. And I'm sure I'm butchering up names, and my apologies. But also, is the music too loud? I can never tell, and Vincey's not on here to let me know. So I just like to get a little background music going because it just seems to be it better. You know, like watching a movie. All right, chapter 3, Cora. You know, getting your ass kicked out here doesn't have to be so depressing, Cece says. We're sitting in our previous shelter, the abandoned basement of an old church. Back then, we laughed about the vampires and how it seemed that we would be safe under the watchful eye of our Lord and Savior. Deep down, we both knew that whatever gods we used to believe in didn't exist. They never did. Yeah, well, how would you recommend I live the rest of my miserable life? Happy? I snort. As Cece takes a stick and nudges the can of beans being heated over the fire, her golden locks slide over her shoulder. Before we lost everything that mattered, I was jealous of her beauty. My venom vanished after the world went black and she morphed into a reminder of home and of Mom. I was the black sheep of the family with hair so white people joked about me being albino. I wasn't. I just looked like my father. That's what Mom said. But all I had of him was a black and white photo of him taken inside of a booth at the theater. I burned the photo a year ago after Mom died in the first attack, leaving me and Cece alone. He wasn't there to protect her, and I'll never forgive that offense. I don't. Maybe you could enjoy what time we have left. What's the use if we just mope and bitch all day long? Cece blows out a long breath as she uses 2 sticks to gently lift the can of beans off the fire. She wraps a worn t-shirt around the can and digs in with a spoon, moaning. I roll my eyes. Here, do you want some? Cece offers me the wrapped can, but I turn away. I hear her sigh, but I'm too busy staring at the door that's been boarded over in front of us. Cece doesn't know it yet, but 2 vampires will tear through that door, rip her away from me, and drink her dry. I will be silent, terrified of turning their attention to myself, before running out the doors as Cece dies. But she doesn't know this yet. She just plops another spoonful of beans in her mouth. You have to eat, Cece says. The can slams down onto the basement floor in front of me and look up at my sister, alarmed. Be quiet. They'll hear you, I whisper. Cece snickers and leans back on her elbows. She tilts her head back and relaxes into the pose, closing both eyes. We both know I'm already dead. Her voice is barely audible against the sound of my heart thumping against my breastplate. I hang my head as tears sting my eyes. I'm so sorry. My hands shake as I wipe sweat from my temple, but I suppress the sobs that threaten to escape my throat. Once they're released, I'll be lost to the grief and unable to gaze at my beautiful sister, the strong one, the one who should have survived. Don't be. I turn my head towards her, brows furrowed, and she smiles. I never wanted this. She gestures at the scraps of humanity scattered around us. Busted glass litters the floor, and empty cans encircle the fire. I just wanted to be free of fear, and now I am. She leans her head back, the easy smirk returning. But I ran. I left you. I don't understand how she's so calm at the talk of her death. Does it not matter to her that she's gone and she left me alone? Cece sits up. I think we both know you had no other choice. I could have stayed, fought for you, I reply, lowering my gaze to my hands. You would have died. I squeeze my eyes shut, willing the tears away. Which is why I'm here. Cora. I love you. We both love you, and you need to fight, to eat. I open my eyes, blinking rapidly as the tears well, leaving everything blurry. I rub them away. I need to see her face. Cece is inches from me, so close that I can feel her hot breath on my cheek. Her hands grip my knees, and I grab them, squeezing tight so that I can memorize each touch. Please don't leave me. Cece flashes her dazzling white teeth. I never did, but you need to wake up. You have to find food. Now. She starts to pull away, and I scream as I wrench her back. No, Cora, you have to stop. Stop and get the fuck up and survive. Cece grabs me by the arms and shakes, whipping my head with her movements. You have to find food. I sit up shaking. It's pitch black, and I reach out to my right and touch the damp wall. The cave. I slide my hand across the grainy floor and feel my flashlight. My chest flutters as I grip the handle. I lift it up and toward the tunnels. Click. No one is there, but the stones glitter again, and the tightness in my chest loosens my breath. My stomach isn't aching with hunger pains anymore, but my movements are slow and focused. I have to find food, or I'm going to die. Cece's warnings from my dream blare through my mind like an insistent alarm. I will not fail my sister. She gave up her life for my measly existence. The least I could do is try. If I die trying, then at least I wouldn't have to let her down. Chapter 4, Aldeon. What do you make of this strange land? I ask. Brone is closer now, but even at my accelerated speed, it's taking too long. I'm eager to meet him, to greet anyone else other than the mad ones. They snarl and rip at the air with their hands. I saw one of them a few miles away back. She was young, probably around the same age as my sister would be. Her hair was a thick mass of black tangles, and dried blood was smeared over her face. When I approached, her eyes were red and unfocused. She couldn't see me, too engrossed in the hunt for her next meal. I like the moon. They only have one of them, but it is bright and beautiful. I look up to the sky, but whatever moon may hang there is shielded by the arching branches from trees overhead. But it is visible to Brone, and I can see through his eyes that he is right. It is beautiful. glowing and round, spotted with gray freckles on its surface. It is beautiful, but not as striking as the moon's circling azure. Even the tone in my head is strained. Azure is all I have ever known, and its memory must not be forgotten, even faced with the magnificence of this world. Our home is long gone, its beauty and our minds both left to rot. His tone turns melancholic, and I retreat back to my own thoughts. I don't need any more reminders of what we've lost. My hand brushes against the thick bark of a nearby tree, and I pause. The rind is rough and calloused. Is this the first time my hand has stroked one of these trees? Or have I only just noticed? They're unlike the trees from home, where the trunks were sleek and spongy to the touch. I dig my fingers into the crust, ready to peel it back and study its contents, when a scent as sweet as nectar wafts to my nose. I inhale, pulling as much of the aroma into my chest as possible. What is this? It could be one of the ferocious beasts, the ones with claws and dark fur, Brone suggests. I've been so engrossed in the tree, I almost forgot he was present in my mind. The sweet smelling musk is a mystery and one I want to solve. Having company along the way feels like a game or a group hunt, and the thought doesn't put me off as much as I expect. I want to know what it is. I push away from the tree and follow the direction of the smell, letting my nose guide me. I'm no longer hungry, and this scent is decadent and rich. I can't help but search for its origin. Trees blur past as I speed through the forest, bounding over babbling brooks and thickets of briars while being as noiseless as possible. The scent is so close that I can taste it on my tongue. The trees open to a large slab of stone, a roadway. I stop. It's here. Quiet footsteps sound against the earth further ahead, and I run to catch up, remaining as stealthy as possible. My curiosity is piqued, Aldeon. What is this creature? I don't respond to Brone immediately. I'm too caught up in the aroma of the silhouette in front of me. It's almost close enough to see the details the light the moon has so graciously illuminated. A silent breath whooshes from my lips when I see her. A crown of white hair is piled high atop her head, and she wears garbs made from strange materials that hug the slight curves of her waist. I slow my pace as she marches forward, unaware of my presence. I inhale deeply, pulling more of her scent into my lungs. An instinct I thought I'd never experience floods my body. My heart pounds against my chest, tugging me toward her as my cock throbs in my pants. Mine. The urge to go and collect her crashes through me, and I begin to run after her. But when I get closer, so close she could hear me if I called out to her, I stop. She's craning her head around, trying to see every way at once. She hasn't noticed me yet within the shadows. Her sharp movements, her scent, and the garments she wears all tell me one thing. She is one of them, one of the bloodletters. It can't be. Brown shock filters through my mind, once again reminded me he hasn't gone anywhere. A growl reverberates from my throat. With all the force I can muster, I slam Brone out of my mind, locking him away with a mental shield. She is mine. He cannot have her. He should not have the luxury to look at her bewitching body, even if it's through my eyes. I'm not sure who she is or how she has managed to stay alive this long. The fact that she is different from the vampires, the vampires may also be a problem. Her movements stay sharp, calculated. The moonlight shines down upon her straight back as she trudges down the road. I reach out with my mind and search for clues about who she is and how she thinks. I find very little resistance, but her thoughts are filled with strange words and spoken language unlike any I have ever heard. I dig deep into her memories until I'm able to decipher the meaning of each word, letter, and syllable. It's almost too much to bear, and I hold in a groan of displeasure so the girl doesn't hear me. Her people are more intelligent than I expected. Food. If I can find food, I can survive. Food. There has to be a store near here, somewhere to restock, and then I just have to worry about making it home. Her inner voice is harmonic, like water trickling through a brook. I am flooded with images of her small cave and the darkness she sits in day after day, images of my people with crazed red eyes swirling as they tear into someone that she loved. Sorrow grips me, both hers and mine, squeezing my heart. I have caused this. My people. I should leave now, turn around and never look back. This would be the right thing to do, the thing she would want. I turn away from her and rub the nape of my neck with trembling fingers. I've only just found her, and already I've lost her. Whew, where did that come from? I haven't done that in a long time. No matter how much I want to leave her alone, I cannot. The desire flowing through my veins and the instinct to protect her is too much to ignore. Turning my back on her is not an option. As she walks, I follow her, remaining hidden in the shadows of the edge of the forest. I won't make myself known, not yet. Hey, Karen. Hey, Winter. Nice of you ladies to join us. Chapter 5, Cora. My legs feel like jello. I wobble once as I study the pavement, but it's still solid and I'm moving under my feet. My calves protest with each step, showing their disapproval at my current fitness level. I've been walking for miles, and for the last 3 months, I haven't taken more than a few laps around my cave. The sun dropped below the horizon half an hour ago. If I was smart, I would have left this morning before my movements became sluggish and difficult to maintain. Dumbass. My stomach stopped growling hours ago, replaced with clammy hands and acute hearing. Every time the wind rustles something within the forest, my gut jumps to my throat. I have to remain alert, observant. The wind is brutally cold as it cuts against my face. Oh, I thought you said hi to Vincy. I was like, where's Vincy? Vincy's babysitting, so she can't get on. I'm aware of each snap of a twig and each squirrel that bounds from branch to branch. No vampires have shown their faces yet. If I see one, it's already too late. My neck is becoming stiff and sore from craning my head. I'm clinging to the hope that my streak of good luck lasts a little longer. If I can find a shop before one of them finds me, I can hide until morning and hopefully fill my belly in the process. The road is lit by nothing but the moon, and I gaze at it as I trek on. It's beautiful, no matter what kind of hell this world has turned into. The dark craters are visible now that there are no lights to pollute the night sky, and I smile, remembering how my mother used to see a face on its surface. I try to see the face now. It would be amazing to see features other than my own, and no matter how hard I look, all I see are holes. I exhale and push forward. I have to find shelter soon. I've been exposed for too long. Nashville used to be a wonderful city. I remember the loss of my mom. Well, I'm glad this is in that area, because I live just outside of Chattanooga, so I got that Nashville voice. Nashville used to be a wonderful city. I remember the loss of my mom as my mom drove us into town to go shopping. We only ever visited for special occasions. Here it goes again. It's not your book. I used to do this all the time, and it kind of went away. Now it's trying to come back. I don't know why I yawn like that. We only ever visited for special occasions, but the memory is still vivid in my mind as if it were yesterday. The streets surrounding me have lost their former glory. Grass sticks up from the cracks in the road, and trash litters the ditches. When my sister and I fled our quaint mountain home for the city after Mom died, we thought we were going to find solace, sanctuary. The military had to be functioning, right? Of course, we were wrong. We were wrong about a lot of things. We'll be okay. Someone will come for us, I promise, Cece used to say. After a few weeks, she stopped trying to comfort me. Instead, we pretended things would be better if we just waited it out. Eventually, the vampires had to go away. The roads are eerily quiet. Before the world ended, there was pandemonium. I never noticed how much comfort I found in noise until it was gone, leaving me to deal with my thoughts in silence. What I wouldn't give for an iPod and power to charge it. The thoughts in my head quiet as a large shape looms in the distance. Street signs become more frequent, and a red Volkswagen Beetle with its passenger door ajar sits abandoned on the street ahead. I don't look inside as I pass. I've learned long ago how devastating the sight can be. Ahead, the massive structure becomes visible. It's an old department store with a colossal nameplate hanging sideways on the concrete walls. My steps quicken as I take a right off the road and into the parking lot. Cars are parked in their spots between the white lines. Some looked untouched by time, while others sport massive dents and broken windows. I weave past all of them, my eyes trained on the door of the building. Almost there. The closer I get, the more details I notice. The store has some unsightly spray paint splattered all over one side. Or is it blood? My eyes dart over the ground as my throat bobs with each heaving breath. Almost there. The double doors are made of glass, and I can see my unit. I can see my unlit reflection as I approach. My white hair is made brighter with the glare of the moon. The building appears abandoned, but that doesn't mean it is. If someone is inside, then the threat of vampires lurking nearby heightens. They tend to stick close to their food. I pause, my hand midway to the door. A shudder creeps up my spine as I turn around to cast one last look at the outdoors. Goosebumps dot my arms. I'm being watched. You're just being paranoid. You haven't eaten in days. Go inside and find food. I shake off my unease and tug at the door handle. It's unlocked, but releases a loud groan as uncoiled metal grates against itself, echoing through the air. I rush inside and close the door. In my haste, I crash against something hard and tumble onto the floor. The light bulbs have long since burned out, and I don't have my flashlight on hand. I stay as silent as I can as the sound of my fall sounds through the store. This is it. If someone is here, they've definitely heard me now. I count to 10, waiting for cold hands to close around my throat, but nothing happens. I release the breath I didn't know I was holding and reach for my backpack. I struggle with the zipper in the dark before finally claiming victory, fishing out my flashlight and switching it on. Marbled floors glisten against my light, and a fallen DVD rack lies toppled on its side. What kind of monsters put a DVD rack at the entrance of a department store? I groan as I rise to my feet, rubbing my aching elbow. Yep, that's definitely going to leave a bruise. I lift up my flashlight to illuminate rows of half-stocked shelves. A single thought consumes me. Food. I have to find food. Oh, Brooke, we got to talk, sister. I'm a Dade County girl. We got to talk. Just saying. I grew up in New Salem, so. All right, chapter 6, and this will be my last one, and then I'll probably end up talking to Brooke the rest of the night. I keep to the shadows as she continues down the path. Every so often, her eyes linger over the darkness where I'm concealed, but she doesn't see me. Her thoughts are muddled with fear. That's what I was thinking. Small world. She's terrified that she will be killed. Through her mind, I learned that her name is Cora. The world rolls over my tongue as I whisper it aloud, and I find I quite like the sound. My thoughts stray to her life from before. Images of a small wooden structure nestled deep in the forest fill my mind. Home, she thinks. And then glowing orbs of light appear, and I realize she is imagining these streets as they were from before. I can always talk to her tomorrow. She's on my time zone. Before I arrived, before the vampires came and feasted on her people, I rake my hand through my hair and bow my head. If it weren't for me, her loved ones would still be breathing. A dwelling becomes visible further ahead. I notice it before my mate does and reach out my mind in its direction, searching for anything resembling danger. Once I am satisfied that nothing inside can hurt her, I retreat back into Cora's head. Her thoughts are all I have to comfort myself with as the realization that she can never be mine knots into my stomach, inside of my stomach. She hates me already. Her red hot fury for my people burns bright. No doubt she would kill me if she could. I've pondered it many times during this trek, and I always come back to the same conclusion. I must remain hidden, protecting her from afar while she lives out her life in relative safety. It's the only thing I can do to repay her for the damage vampires have brought to her lamb. So I suffer in silence. I'm almost there. Just a few more steps and I'm safe. I want to tell her she will always be safe from now until forever, but my rationality pulls me back. Cora cannot be mine. I tell myself those words over and over, like a chant drifting to the gods. Oh no, oh no. Actually, I go to bed between 9 and 10 every night, so I'm not a night owl. I don't, and I'm working from home, so that I don't have to. But I've got to start work at about 7:30, 8 o'clock. But I'm glad you're working. I mean, I'm glad you're going to be writing tonight. You guys can stay up. I gotta have my beauty rest, and as you can see, I've been missing some of it lately. A lot. Let's see. Where did I get to? All right. I want to tell her she will always be safe from now until forever, but my rationality pulls me back. Cora cannot be mine. I tell myself those words over and over like a chant drifting to the gods. Cora whips around and I stand motionless in the shadows. Her heartbeat quickens at the same time mine does. Her cheekbones are set high upon her face, made more pronounced by her lack of substance. Her white hair billows around her face, framing wide blue eyes that swim with fear. She's the most beautiful creature I have ever laid eyes on. She lacks the uniform symmetry which we vampires pride ourselves on, but the freckles lining her cheeks and the dip of her nose creates the most ethereal artwork I've ever seen. I cannot see how vampire features could ever stand a chance against hers. Now that I've seen her, I can never forget it. Cora turns away and slings herself into the building. She fears the night and those who hide within the shadows. A loud crash sounds from inside. My breath whooshes from my lips as I run to the doors, prepared to rip them from their hinges if she is in trouble. My hair whips across my face as the wind picks up, and what can only be a second lasts for minutes. I watch through her eyes as she turns on her light device, and I deflate. She is safe. I exhale and back away from the door. Hello, Aldion? Where have you gone? Brown's voice echoes through my mind, momentarily distracting me from Cora's. I grit my teeth. We will not understand what has transpired tonight. He He will not understand what has transpired tonight. He may even try to harm my mate. Fury builds in my chest as the paranoia grows. What if he is not a man of morals? What if he thinks of stealing my mate for himself? No, I won't let that happen. Leave me alone. Go find another to chat with. My tone is swift and dismissive. He would be smart to pay attention to my words. I shield all images of Cora from my mind just in case. His mind retreats without another word. Good. I reinforce what little I can with the mental shield I've constructed. If he really wishes to contact me, he can. But I will not remain open to small talk any longer, and my experiences will be shared with no other. Maybe the food aisle is in the back. Oh, God, is that blood? Yes, that's definitely blood. It's old, though, which means I'm still safe. I hope they went quickly. I watch as Cora shines her light stick down upon the glossy floor. She watches her legs most of all so she doesn't trip again. She's been without food for longer than 3 days. Her species, humans, are not equipped to go without sustenance for much longer than that. Whereas my species would go mad after years of not eating. She would perish after a mere week. My beloved human is more delicate than I could ever have imagined. Her bones are so fragile that they shatter as easily as a branch from a tree, and her body grows thin and weak without daily feedings. I should put my glasses on, but I'm trying to not sit so close. I will have to muster more than just brute strength if I'm going to protect her from afar. I'm going to need knowledge about this foreign land and the humans that have to live here. Alrighty. That gets you guys up to chapter 7, so you'll definitely have to get the book and finish it. Okay. Oh yeah. In case you didn't know, Ori is Nina. She's Ori on here, but she's Nina. She's the one that requested the book, and I'll give you all the information and stuff. Nina and Jackie both love these demon stuff. I'm not as big into the demon stuff. Yeah, the meet cute scenes are always interesting. I love to see what kind of spin an author's going to pull on it. Alrighty. So, Brenna, if we're not already friends on Facebook, I'll send you a request so we can talk on Messenger. Other than that, tomorrow night is this book tonight was by Brenna Harlow, Blood at Dusk. It's like a vampire book, but it's an alien book. It's sci-fi, so it's not as much fantasy paranormal as it is sci-fi. All right, so tomorrow night I have Michael James, and it'll be his July book of the Grandma's Silent Auction. So I know several people have been following that and reading that, and I'm trying to get caught up on all the books. You ladies come back tomorrow night and hear some more good reading. I got the book. I've always got Michael's books because they're on KU, and I know what's coming up next every month. So the only reason I know it's tomorrow night is because Miss Shirley was asking me about it. All right, ladies. Today was the last day of Pride Month, so happy Pride Month to anybody that is on here, anybody that listens to it later, and looking forward to July. Jackie, if you don't show up tomorrow night, happy birthday early. Hopefully I'll remember it on your birthday so that I can actually wish you a happy birthday on your birthday, but I'm the world's worst. So, all right, ladies, have a good evening. And Brooke, I'll hit you up later. All right, everybody, have a great evening. Happy reading.